Hello.
Hi.
This is Tom and Heather.
It's Monday in the studio.
This is Mitts.
Yes.
What should they do?
Oh, you please like our channel, share our channel, subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell to our channel so you can be connected into us anytime we go live. How'd I do?
Yeah, that was.
Will you
that
give
was
me
wonderful.
like a 0 to 10? How'd I do?
That was an 11.
Okay.
It was one louder.
Happy anniversary, 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 happy anniversary to Tony's group and Lisa.
Yes.
It's their anniversary.
Happy
35
anniversary.
years. Congrats.
Tony came over yesterday to help me scope out a issue that I have with the very top piece of siding.
Oh, on your house or where?
Yeah, it's starting to come down. So we were talking about, do either of us have a ladder far enough? So had he helped me, there was always the possibility he wasn't going to make 35 years.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Thank you. I wish I could. What? Could something. I don't know what that says.
It has a
heart next to it.
Ooh, I don't know what that.
I could memorize that. I don't know. But anyway, we're so happy that you're with Lisa hopefully tonight and you're having a drink and yeah. Oh, I'll find a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that would I don't know if that even exists.
So Dave's got a Diet Coke with him.
Yes.
Tony has got a tumbler with
cocktail recipes printed on the side.
Oh, trying a Tom Collins.
Oh.
I have a story about Tom Collins. Is the one and only time that
you ever had one?
Well, I didn't have I had about a gallon. It was in high school or shortly thereafter. And many of us did.
Oh no.
It was Was it
poisoned or
no, it was all these yes, it was from the Flintstones, Dave. It was stupid, right out of high school, college party kind of thing. And everybody thinks that they can drink more than they can drink. And I made a habit. It was a lifestyle choice, poor lifestyle choice, I'd say.
I'm glad you're here, to be able to talk about it.
Yes.
It could be much worse.
Could be.
Yeah. So what's been happening in the studio this week?
Oh, well.
No gear has been purchased. This is big. No gear has been purchased.
There's a few plugins.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about the new purchases that from last week. We never even...
we never talked about that?
No.
Would you like to share that?
Do you guys want to see the new purchase? There's
this is supposed to be about instruments tonight. So yeah, go get your instruments. And then we're going to talk a little bit about AI, kind of warm us up for the next time we're going to get together. But we have... we've had a couple of instruments brought into our studio life here. And I think one of them, at least, is going to make it into some kind of song that we have. So here comes Tom with a new friend. All new sounds.
Why is it that all my friends are inanimate objects?
I do not know.
All right. Before I tell you what this is, does anybody want to take a guess what this is? Come on, Dave.
It actually looks like a shelf that a woman would put up for like a country shelf because it has the little hearts on it. I think Lisa might agree with that.
You notice how the tone changed as soon as you touch the top?
Yes. Yeah.
It's something I have to make like a stand for it because as soon as your body touches it,
Oh, it loses
all its resonance and stuff. So, all right, so Appalachian dulcimer. Yes, Becky, you are correct. Also called a mountain dulcimer. Mm-hmm. It was one of those incredible finds. My sister runs a rummage sale at a church, and she sent me a text and said, "Are you interested in this thing?" And I'm like, "I don't want a dulcimer. What am I going to do with a dulcimer?" And then I started thinking about it, over the next hour. And I wrote her back and I said, "Can you tell me anything more about it?" Like I said, "I'm really only interested in if it's a McSpadden." McSpadden is a manufacturer of mountain dulcimers from Arkansas, made in the Ozarks, and by a couple old guys. And they're like the thing. If you want
the most popular.
Well, if you want a good one, it's like ukuleles. You could buy ukuleles for $50 to $100. Kayla, and there's a couple other brands and stuff like that, but they sound like that. And then when you step up, I found her a used Martin ukulele. That was pretty phenomenal. But there's a big difference between cheap instruments and more expensive instruments. And same things with the mountain dulcimer. So she told me, I said, "How much?" And she said, $75. And I look up the list price, and since it lists for 7 times that, I was like,
sold.
I was like, okay, I'll take it. And so I bought new strings. I got the new strings in. I put them on over the weekend, and there you go.
That's rare, actually, I think, to find. You watch all of these shows, like the Antiques Roadshow and things like that, where people bring like the really expensive thing to the table, and then they say, "Oh, this was, worth $1,000 or $12,000." But rarely do you find that kind of
you don't find good
diamond in the middle of a rummage sale. So this is
good deals
cool.
Are kind of hard to find.
Yeah, this is really cool.
I also got an auto harp, but I haven't tuned that up, so I'm not going to even pull it out of its case.
We'll bring it out at some point.
It came with a case, so it's an Oscar Schmidt, which I think that pretty much every auto harp made now is an Oscar Schmidt.
So why do you get excited about cases?
Why am I excited?
Yeah,
because there's someplace to keep it so it doesn't get destroyed while I'm messing around with other stuff.
But there's types of cases that you get excited about, though. Like, there's like a built-in, it's got a humidifier, it's got like other things in it. Well, I don't think people think about cases as being part of the whole
number
package.
One thing about the case is it has to be protective, and it has to work always. Unlike the case that we have for your keyboard. We have bought 2 cases for her keyboard, and it's got a zipper, and
it has these round edges.
2 or 3 shows in, the zipper falls apart and rips out a couple teeth, and then you can't get the thing started anymore. Miserable. And it's like a $350 case. So we spent like $700 on these cases, and this one's wrecked too. So, but
you might as well not even put it in a case. Yeah. So you've got a mountain dulcimer and an auto harp, right?
Yeah.
And so these 2 things came to you from this rummage sale?
Yeah, they did.
That's incredible.
And I'm not really a rummage sale guy. I wouldn't actually go to a rummage sale myself, but when somebody finds stuff for me.
And that's cool that your sister actually was like, "Yeah, I got to call my brother."
Yeah. She didn't buy it for me, though.
No? Yeah.
So I had to end up buying it. But it's very nice.
So that's kind of a new sound that we'll have it in one of our songs potentially.
Yeah.
Sounds very much like
these comments and stuff coming in.
Yeah. So hi, Becky and Steve. Becky said, "When my dad was young, he apprenticed with a guy who made dulcimers and made one. Then the guy gave him one."
Wow.
It's very cool.
They seem like they'd probably be fairly easy to build comparatively to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Because the bends in the sides are not that sharp, because you have to heat wood and bend it, and that one is it's very nice. It's cherry. It's made out of cherry.
Yeah, it smells good
for the back and sides, and the top is redwood. So Very nice.
That's where it gets its really nice tone, is from the wood, right?
Yeah. Odd thing is, I got to find out a way to make a stand for it so that I'm not touching it, because that way it'll ring much better.
And when the stand is built, we'll make sure that you see the stand.
Hopefully it won't go as badly as the, I won't be painting it black with the wrong
Does
paint
everybody
again.
watch the last week's?
Was it last week?
Oh, yeah. It was very sad. It was like too sad of an ending. So
I was so depressed. I couldn't even film anymore at that point. It was like, I'm over this.
Yeah. Well, what else happened this past week?
I did a final mix down for Dan Azio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting anxiously. Don't have anything yet.
Dan, if you're out there, we actually
tell us what you think. And we had rehearsal. We had
a show.
We had 2 rehearsals, because we had a rehearsal on Tuesday, I think, and then we had Wednesday off, and then Thursday we were supposed to have a show at EBC.
But we made it a party.
Yeah, because rain was coming in, and it was supposed to be thunderstorms while we were playing, and of course it didn't happen.
It was wet enough, though, that we wouldn't have wanted to.
Yeah, we gave EBC the option on what they wanted to do, and it was like, nah, it's too much of a risk, and to take off half a day of work and move all that gear.
Right.
It's as it was. I moved a lot of gear anyway, but
we had pizza, and Tony's crew came over and ate some pizza.
Yeah, we had a real nice night.
And you got me a salad. That was really sweet, Yeah, because I'm not really a huge pizza fan.
I need you to pay me back for that salad. That
it was salad and chicken, because I'm a fan of
gotta have chicken
chunks. Yeah, so that was really nice. And then we hung out with the guys, and we learned a song, didn't we?
We sure did. We are playing the 14th and 15th of June. We are playing at the Scottish Festival and Highland Games in Wheaton, Illinois. We're playing 2 days. And so you figure, all right, we need to do a couple things. If we're going to be doing some Scottish thing, we need to learn a Scottish song. So maybe we'll,
we did.
We'll display that to you just as soon as we know it a little bit better. But it came out pretty good, because we didn't have anything before rehearsal. And so I got home from work just a little bit early. I started looking up, well-known Scottish songs, folk songs. And so I found this one, and I went online to find the music for it.
And there was no good lyric, or no good chords in that whole thing.
I couldn't believe it. I downloaded a couple different versions of it, and every one of them had the wrong chords. Because I listened to somebody actually play it, and I listened to the original version, which was in C sharp, which you're never going to play C sharp on any stringed instruments. So I sat at the piano and I just worked it all out, and then scribbled out a thing. So when everybody got there, I'm saying, okay, at this word, it's supposed to be this chord and not that chord. And at here, it's going to be this chord, and the whole sheet was done up like that. But we played it like 4 times, I think, or something like that. And it came out pretty fun. I think people will enjoy that.
So I'll be playing the flute, and Tom will be singing the song. And I think it's apropos because he's actually going to be wearing a kilt. So if you are in the area, come on, because you're from the Logan clan, you have to go get a Logan skirt. I mean, they actually have them there if you want to purchase them.
Now, do I go with my grandmother's side, which is Logan,
right,
or my grandfather's side, which is McCowan? McCowan did come from Scotland, but moved to Ireland, and they're more known.
I'm thinking Logan. Logan's pretty well known.
Well, Logan
was actually it's the line of Mary Queen of Scots, right? Which he's related to.
And I don't want to lose my head about it, but
yeah. So that'll be fun. So we've got the 14th and the 15th. 14th we have a 4:30 show. It'll be on the big bandstand.
Not playing very long.
No, but it's going to be fun.
So, it's just going to be mandola, mandolin, and banjo. No guitars in sight.
No guitars in sight. And then we play in the morning on the 15th at 10:30 a.m. Actually, I think we're the first ones on. So that's
if traffic is really horrible, we won't even get home before we have to turn around and come back. So,
yeah, so that'll be a fun time. Actually, I felt like Thursday was really fun. The guys were kind of relaxed because we didn't have a show, but yet, we were also relaxed because we were having pizza, we're hanging out. Tony had just a couple beers before we even started. And then you expected us to be perfect.
He started off with the stronger ones. It was like IPAs like Zombie Dust and Zombie whatever and lots of zombie stuff.
Donna buys him such strange brewskis. And these are all IPAs. So
yeah.
It's kind of like got that really tough taste to it. IPAs.
IPAs have that compost pile taste to them. Do you remember years ago we went to what was it, World of Beer or something like that in Naperville?
Apathetic. Yeah, that was pretty awful.
We were supposed to play a show there, but we wanted to go scope it out beforehand. So so we went there and looking at their their bazillion beers that they have there, and I go, I wonder what a fire starter is. So I get fire starter. I had no idea what an IPA was at that time. Remember, this was like 10 years ago, before anybody, like more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, World of Beer was like this big, I don't
even know, are they still there anymore?
I don't think so.
Like,
and then all of a sudden breweries started coming out of the woodwork.
I remember getting it, taking a sip.
And you're like,
and I said to Heather, that beer cost me $10 and I would give them $10 more to take it back.
I think I had like a chocolate. It was like a chocolate beer or something like that.
Yeah, well, a chocolate stout. That'd be just fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we were going to talk a little bit about AI tonight and talk about how you think it's going to impact us. And I've been doing some reading.
AI like an I.
Like a Scottish I. Solancha. I've been doing some reading on it.
Have you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the things that I'm going to ask you a few questions. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, and then you can, give us your. I don't think there's any problem with you giving your opinion. So I'm just going to ask for your opinion.
She's going to ask my opinion.
So, one of the things that in this article that I was reading from Time is talking about like how it's going to impact artificial intelligence is going to impact us negatively. But one of the things that they said was, in a lot of cases, we're doing AI already, especially in the digital music area. So one of the things that you have is called Pitch Correct. And
but that's not AI.
But
AI will actually make that probably better.
Exactly.
Just because AI will be able to adjust somebody's pitch and know how much to shift something and how to reshape it, which would be, a really tedious impossibility.
Exactly. So the tedious pieces of some of the digital work that you do.
But there's a problem with that.
What's that?
People that have no talent at all will become singing sensations. No. And I've done that before. I've nobody recently, but I have recorded people in the past that honestly could not hold a note. Mm-hmm. But I could manipulate it to the point where they actually sound like they could sing.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that sounds pretty good.
Can't you do that today?
What's that?
You can do that today.
I can do that today.
So how is AI going to make that really like a worst thing to do?
Well, it's just that it starts lowest common denominator. We just keep going down and down and down.
Yeah.
And we dumb down music and art. What if AI could make paintings like the AI created Mona Lisa?
Digital. Like they can do digital, but they can't actually take out a brush.
Well, that's the thing.
Do oil paintings.
Yeah, but what happens when they can?
Are you talking about a robot?
Well, you've already got 3D printers. Mm-hmm. Why not like a 3D painting thing? And I assume at some point. So if I was to cut to the chase about it, I think that people at the bottom rung are going to become superfluous. Mm-hmm. If you're not very interesting, if you're not doing something really unique, and you're just kind of like I'm going for this pop thing.
Yeah.
I want to sound like Billie Eilish. And AI is going to be able to create Billie Eilish as good as you're going to be able to. Mm-hmm. I think the uniqueness of humans is that we can write something that's unexpected.
Yeah.
That breaks the norm of that style. And it wouldn't think to do that. Because, I think there's always going to be a place for fine art. The better,
right, exactly.
The better the art is, the better chance it has of standing up to it.
Yeah.
I was on some forums and talked with some guys, because they were talking about AI, and they're all songwriters and producers. And they were talking that we used to use a piece of software called SonarWorks, which was doing room correction for us. We're not using that one anymore. But SonarWorks just came out with, I can't remember what they called it anymore, but they have a piece of software where you buy it. You're basically renting it by the minute. No, it's by the second.
Really?
Yeah, it's by the second. And what you do, say I record a song, and I'm like, this really needs like the Nickelback guy sound, that it needs to be sung by Nickelback. So you've got 4 or 5 different singers that you pick between, and AI creates that with the sound of the guy from Nickelback.
Right.
I think they got like 3 guys and a couple girls or something like that. And you pick between those, and it will re-sing your whole song with that voice.
I think.
And it's as believable as pop music is currently. If you listen to pop music, even if you listen to like bro country and stuff like that, if you listen to country music right now, it is way, way auto-tuned.
Yes.
To the point where auto-tune loses something for me, because half of the fun of listening to somebody is hearing them struggle to get to that note. Like in blues, there's lots of bending of notes and stuff like that. And you don't know if they're ever going to get quite up to the note. And they're bending it. You can hear the strain in their voice. When you take that away and they just hit the notes, it just becomes robotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It loses the intensity, the passion. So this automatic voice replacer does that.
Right.
It's not going to be able to do the swoops and stuff like that. So it sounds like it's overly auto-tuned vocal performance, but the vocal performance sounds real.
Yeah.
Which is a little scary.
I think, though, that's going to just leave it open to more legal, because you can't actually take my voice. You can't take somebody else's voice. The pattern is your pattern. It's your voice.
Well, right now they have had to decide on how they're going to do that. The last Beatles song, what was it called? What was it, like all these years ago or something like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what the name of it was, but it was a John Lennon song that he wrote playing piano. All they had was a cassette recording of it, and they wanted to do something with it. They tried to do it back in 95, 96, when they did that song Free as a Bird. And they put out another Beatles song called Free as a Bird. That was a John Lennon tune also. But this one, it was so messed up. They could not, up until recently, they couldn't remove the piano without removing his voice. But AI and special software that was developed for Peter Jackson.
Cut out just the audio.
They used it for the Get Back stuff, the Beatles Get Back special thing. And they were able to extract his voice, and they built the whole song up. And it sounds pretty good.
Right.
But
did Yoko Ono?
Paul McCartney had to get Yoko Ono.
Exactly. Yeah.
To
approve it.
And Olivia Harrison to sign off on it before they would put out it as a Beatles song. Sure. Because
that's the right way to do it. If you're going to set precedent, that'd be the right way to do it, is make sure that everybody who is responsible for that particular voice gets to sign off on something.
Well, that's a bit of a trick. I read something today that there was a, what is it? It's like ChatGPT or something like that. One of the voices now sounds too much like Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say Scarlett O'Hara, but frankly, I don't give a damn.
No.
So
So
there's going to be lawsuits like that. And obviously the Actors Guild has been up in arms and they are very much against AI because now you can do all kinds of things that were impossible. Do you remember there was like a Pepsi commercial years ago that Elton John was in it, but he's like going up to a bar, but Humphrey Bogart was in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where that was very interesting trickery, of
avant-garde back then.
Yeah, but it was all done by film and editing like that. But now that could become very, very real.
Yeah.
You have characters like they're going to have another Lord of the Rings based on Gollum. And
that's Gollum.
Gollum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gollum.
Okay. So anyway, he's not a real character. Somebody moves around in the suit. Right. And stuff like that, and they track his movements, but he's completely generated. And somebody in China's already hit #1 as a pop artist,
as a pop AI artist.
Yeah.
I think can I share with you some of my thoughts?
Yes, please.
Or do you want to ask me a question or anything?
No, you.
Okay. So a couple things. The first is that from what I do, my role a lot of the times is doing, posts and sending out emails and booking and that kind of thing. I think in some ways AI will help me do some of the mundane stuff in a way that's faster, right? Because
as long as you don't use it as your introduction letters.
No. But I think, I actually send out letters that are different depending on the venue.
Yeah.
Right. And that takes a whole lot of my time. So it's not that I can't write, because I can, but if there's, I really can. I can write. But, I've got my degree in communications. I did journalism. I wrote it for the newspaper. Like, there are things that I know how to do, but do I really want to spend that time? So I think some of the really mundane stuff will be very helpful. At some point, it would be great to say, pull me from a catalog of our photos, pull me a photo of, Tom and Heather with, a caption that's talking about, Monday in the studio, and that it's exciting things are going to happen. In ChatGPT, you can do some of that already by saying, give me, 3 lines.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sync it up with a picture and that kind of stuff.
I think it
makes it smarter.
I think the more astute people realize when it's ChatGPT saying those things.
Yeah.
Because it's the way it phrases things and what it does.
I think
you can tell it's kind of like when somebody writes a paper and they Googled the whole thing.
Right.
And then just took blocks of stuff from Wikipedia.
I totally get what you're saying. And I think that is a danger. The other thing, though, that I do is I edit. Because sometimes the way that they're saying it is actually not the way that I would write it. So my philosophy has always been, when I'm writing something, put out the 80% and then let me edit for the 20. Sometimes it's even the song that you and I are talking about this. We have one artist that we're working with that I'm like, let's get 80% of it done so that they come with that 20%. If I wait for, we give them 20%, then we're going to be waiting forever for the 80%. So it's the same with
more than 20%.
I know. No, but what I'm saying is that we give them 80%. And when I was writing and is in the comms world, I would always write something so somebody had something to react to. And so that gives you some of that power. I actually don't think people should be using it for corporate America kind of stuff, but for simple things like writing a post or putting together an invitation or things like that, I feel like that's definitely something that could be done. The other item that I want to bring up is that I do think that, and we can talk about this more, but I actually think that with so many people doing AI, if you're doing that, you can't claim to be an original artist. I believe that you cannot do that. You can claim to be an original artist and say, I am non-AI. You can actually set up yourself as a marketing advantage by not being in that world.
But that's already a question right now. I'm not trying to pick on our hip hop and rap fans at all, but when 80% of what you've done is taking loops of somebody else's material and creating your song from loops of somebody else's piece, is that really being an artist? Some would say yes, some would say no. What about a DJ? Is a DJ an artist to you? To me, not so much.
Right.
But there is an art form to being a DJ and being really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's being able to, create the ebb and flow of a show.
Right.
But to me, there's no creativity in the actual the songs that are used. It's just in how they splice them together.
When you ask to license that, though, your material, you actually have to tell BMI or ASCAP, is this from, is part of your song from something else?
Yeah.
Then it's called a derivative work. It's not
a lot of people, obviously, with all the lawsuits, people try to get around that, though.
Yeah.
They try to mangle it in such a way that you can't tell where it really came from.
Right.
Pat had a question about Freddie Mercury,
Queen's use of Freddie Mercury's holographs in concert. And he says, does AI change the foundation for creativity or create a ceiling? That's interesting.
I do think that I think it in some ways, like home recording studios has made it so anybody can be a recording artist.
Exactly. Yep.
But that's why there's 160,000 songs released every single day. And that's why it's really difficult to be heard and to gain any traction as an artist. And you can really only do that by going out live.
Right.
Because you have to go to the people. Because if you're expecting people to find you out of those 160,000 things that happened that day,
right,
it's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. I think that there will be at some point that BMI, ASCAP, others are going to have to, because that's where they slice and dice your song up. And I think if you're going to be saying, hey, are these original lyrics? If they're not lyrics that you actually created, I think you're actually going to have to submit like what part of those lyrics did you utilize an external source from. I think you're going to have to do some of that.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think
people will lie.
I would bet right now that a lot of stuff that's coming out was chat GPT. Just type in what you want the song to be about, it'll spit it out, because you can already say, write me a song like Paul Simon, something like Sound of Silence, and it'll spit out the lyrics for you.
Right.
Most of them will be pretty bad, but have you heard pop music lately? It's not a gigantic, deep well of interesting lyrics.
Does it really change anything that we do as Shadowfields?
No, because obviously we aren't in it for the money. We're in it for the creation. Right. That's the only part of this I'm even interested in, because the playing live is a way to take our creation to people for them to hear it.
Right.
But if it wasn't for that creation, I would have no interest in playing.
Exactly. It's ours.
Because I'm not a player. Like the guys in the band, they're players. They are players because they can play other people's stuff. Yep. And they're happy to do so because they are players. I'm not a player. I buy a ton of instruments to write different things and to get different moods across and to think of lyrics and piece it all together.
Right.
That creation process is the only part that I'm actually interested in.
Right. And I like the melody making. I like the, doing all of the harmonies. I like
it's all part of the creation.
Absolutely. And I think that makes it a little different for us, because if it was just a part of getting a song out the door and making millions of dollars, I think, yeah, go for it. But we're actually not like that.
Well, that's like just not our pieces. That's never been our thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I hope you enjoyed us bantering back and forth.
Oh, we went over.
We did. So sorry.
Sorry, guys.
You probably needed other drinks, didn't you? But we're actually not going to be here next week. It is Memorial Day. So we hope you enjoy yourselves.
Are you going to be gone?
On the 27th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you going up north?
Yeah. You guys want to come?
No.
So, but we hope you enjoy. Get your hamburger, hot dog, your brewskis. Enjoy your time off if you are working. And so appreciate you being with us tonight on Mitts.
Yes. Can you sing the theme song since
Monday in the studio?
Again, this has been Tom and Heather. And thanks so much for being with us tonight. And
our conversation on AI will continue because there's a lot of other things we didn't talk about.
Well, maybe we can show some examples of things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They like videos. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us. We just really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. You know, it's a small group and we just have fun together.
Love you.
And have a drink on us and we'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. Okay.
Bye.
Good night.